They say monsters are born, not made. But in Amityville, New York, the monster lived inside a boy named Ronald DeFeo Jr. Before the world knew his name, Ronnie was just another young man living in the large Dutch colonial house on Ocean Avenue with his family. To the neighbors, they seemed normal. His father, Ronald Joseph, was a strict, hot-tempered man. His mother, Louise, a devout Catholic, tried to hold the family together. Ronnie had 4 younger siblings, 2 sisters and 2 brothers, each with their own small dreams of the future. But behind those white walls and behind those glowing quarter-moon windows, life was far from perfect. Ronnie grew up under the weight of his father's fists and rage. The discipline in the DeFeo house wasn't just harsh, it was violent. Friends recalled how young Ronnie seemed distant, angry, like something was boiling inside him. He grew up rebellious, often lashing out, skipping school, turning to drugs and alcohol. By the time he was 23, he was using heroin, stealing money from his family, and drowning in paranoia. The DeFeo family dinners were no longer about love and laughter, they were war zones. Ronnie hated his father's control. His father hated Ronnie's defiance. And slowly, the hatred began to fester. On the night of November 13, 1974, that hatred turned to horror. It was just past a.m. when Ronnie picked up his .35 caliber Marlin rifle. The house was silent. His parents were asleep upstairs. His siblings tucked safely in their beds. The only sound was his footsteps on the wooden floors. He walked into his parents' room first. His father, Ronald Joseph, was lying in bed. In the dark silence of the house, Ronnie raised the rifle, aimed, and fired. The gunshot ripped through the night, piercing the body of his father. Louise awoke in terror, but before she could scream, Ronnie pulled the trigger again. His mother's body fell still beside his father's. But it didn't stop there. Ronnie moved to the next room, where his younger brothers were sleeping. He raised the rifle, pulled the trigger twice more. The children never woke. Room by room, bed by bed, he murdered them all. His 2 sisters, his brothers, one by one, silenced forever. When the massacre was over, 6 members of the DeFeo family lay dead, and strangely, all of them were found lying face down in their beds, as if they had never stirred. Not one had fought back, not one had tried to escape. The neighbors claimed they never heard screams. Some said they heard muffled gunshots, but dismissed them as distant noises. How could a rifle fire 6 times in a suburban neighborhood without a single desperate cry for help? Ronnie later claimed that he didn't act alone, that voices in the house commanded him to kill. He said he was possessed, controlled by something darker than himself, but police believed otherwise. To them, it was simple, a troubled young man, drowning in drugs and rage, finally snapping. When arrested, Ronnie confessed quickly. In court, his defense argued insanity. But the jury didn't buy it. He was found guilty of 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to 6 consecutive life terms. The press swarmed Amityville. The house on Ocean Avenue became infamous. A picturesque home forever tainted by blood. But while Ronald DeFeo Jr. was locked away, the real story was only just beginning. Because 1 year later, a new family would move into the house believing they were buying their dream home. What they found instead would become one of the most terrifying hauntings the world had ever heard.